Yo, what's good? It's another Legendary People podcast. Actually, doing a special today, man. With the Ohio Innocence Project, man. I got my bro Ahava El Elyon in the building, man.
What's going on? What's going on? All right.
I mean, we can't talk like that. I mean, like it's certain things like you working on right now. I mean, let's get into that real quick.
Well, the first thing I've been working on is trying to figure out what's going on with Diddy.
We start there. That's where we going. That's where we going.
That's wild.
So,
how much trouble is Diddy in, bro?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Man,
He's innocent.
I don't.
He's innocent.
I got a lot. I got different feelings about that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I got real different. I think it's deeper than what we looking into.
All right. So look, I got a interesting question. Right, based off of bro, he just said that he thought Puffy not being real, but saying he's innocent. Out of 100 people that are locked up, how many of them are truly innocent?
Out of 100 people that's locked up, I could probably go out of 100 people. I could probably give it out of them 100 people. I could put it about like close to half.
Thank you.
I could put it close to half.
I was right.
Yeah,
I was right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's just the way the whole setup is and the timing when everybody do get arrested for these crimes. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe it's all political.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even dealing with my type of situation, like, I think it was more political more than anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think I was just part of some type of political mob. Like, it was just like my timing of doing the trial, my timing of catching the case, my timing of everything. It was the timing. That's how they end up putting me in there for a crime I commit.
Right. Yeah. Now that's interesting. That's interesting because I said out of 100,
You say
one.
And
I got just probably was just in a block with me. Like in a dorm with me where I was living there. Out of 200 men, it was probably like 10 of them that's innocent.
For sure.
That's 10 men that was in the area with me living in. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know that.
Man, bro, when you locked up and you're innocent for a crime that you did not commit, like what goes through your mind every day? Are you feeling like any day now they're gonna discover the truth and just let you out? Or do you give up?
Well, me, I seen a lot of people do give up. But like me, like I just know I ain't do it.
Right.
So I know, like, cause I'm a man of faith. I'm a true believer in God, and so I just believe that, like, if it is a God, like, he know I ain't commit this crime, so he go help me get up out of this situation.
Yeah, for sure.
So if whatever he got to put into place, even though I did not have the money to get out of the situation, like, because people say the money could have got me out, but I don't know about that because, like I said, I was part of some type of political thing at that time.
Yeah.
So before we get too far down that street, because we're definitely going to do a thorough background leading up to your incarceration. I also want to introduce we got Mike Daly in the building.
Hello.
And of course we got Marty Leveston as well. So can you give them a little bit of your background?
My background. I'm a public defender currently since 2010 here in Montgomery County. I see a lot of these cases. I mean, it's a tough job to be in. You see the innocent people coming through, and I think innocent. That's a hard question to ask out of 100. It's insane, but I feel you. The system is set up in a weird way, and a lot of times it's what situation you're in.
Yes.
The judges, the prosecutors. So, but we'll deal with that. But love my job, and I try to stop that from happening. I promise.
Yeah.
Right. So Marty, man, let's dig back in the crates, man. Like, let's go back to like how you grew up. Like, what area did you grow up in?
What area?
Area.
I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, and many different areas. But I grew up in the west side of town of Cincinnati. So I was like back and forth between Westwood of Cincinnati to Hawaiian Terrace. Yeah,
Respect,
Westwood Dayton.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Respect.
Yes. Oh, yeah, Westwood of Dayton. Yes, I heard. Yes. Yes. I know a lot about that. Yes, sir.
For sure. So, did you see like a lot of crime growing up?
Oh, yes. For sure. You know
What kind
I'm
of crime do you
saying?
mind speaking on?
I seen all of it. You know, like just like drug dealing, people getting killed. Like it just people surviving. Like that's how I looked at it. Like everybody was surviving their way they know how. And so like that's like what I grew up seeing. Like I grew up seeing a lot of that. Like I grew up around it. Like it was put in me.
Right. So, how hard was it not to become a product of that environment?
It was very hard because like when you growing up in a household like mine, like you know my mama oh man that woman like she like really like was like not just a mother to us but a mother to everyone else too. And so like it wasn't just like you got to think my mama it was 6 of us.
Okay.
So then my father he have you know I got 2 siblings from my father's side. I got a brother and sister from over there. So
8 total.
8 total. But you got to think now we got cousins.
Right.
Like, and my mom, she the one, like, she ain't gonna see one of my cousins out. She go bring them where we at. And so it could easily be 10 of us in the house. Like, got 10 people around the same age, back to back. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so all fighting over cereal, fighting over cookies. Oh, yeah, that went down. Fighting over video games. Don't wear my stuff. Like, so, you know, you grew up in that. So, like, that kind of, like, can, like, force somebody because, you know, just not being fortunate enough to, like, really, like, I think I'm a boy. So I'm growing up fast. My shoes becoming, like, you know, the community we living in, the schools we going to.
Right.
You know, they back in our time, they was about fashion.
For sure.
Like, if you ain't have the right proper pair of shoes,
Come
you
on
ain't
now.
getting that girl.
Right.
Like you
Like,
ain't
you
getting
getting roasted.
you ain't getting no attention to none of that. You better know how to fight. You better know how to protect yourself to to get that stuff.
And they
So,
fry
like,
you up on that bus when you get
yeah,
up there. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
So like you gotta have those things. So like my mama wasn't fortunate enough to really buy me Michael Jordans, and I'm 16, 17 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like she did, but I wear size 10, almost 10 now. The $150 shoe. Now you gotta get a job, boy.
Right.
And so back then, like I was seeing other guys around the corner on these corners, and I'm seeing they was getting money a certain way. So I'm like, you know what? I want to try that way.
Okay.
And so that's when that came into play right there.
Before you got there, let's talk about like young Marty, man. Like, what are some of the things that, like you strive to be as like a young kid? Like, what's some things like you want to do? Like,
Oh yes, I
that
want
is your interest.
yes, like a lot. Sports big, like boxing. Like I was real big on boxing. Like my dad was big on that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I was always in love with boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and my dad go back and forth to this day about boxing. Like, we have big arguments.
Cincinnati is a big boxing city.
Sure.
It is. Y'all got some great fighters coming out of
Yeah,
Cincinnati.
yeah.
Hey, listen, bro. I still love AB, man. Listen, bro. Come to the podcast. I've been putting it in the universe. Hopefully, it's the time you're gonna hear it. But nah, we're good. So yeah, like, boxing,
AB. I watched AB grow up since he was when my backyard was his front yard.
So I heard that his brother Twin was like the better boxer, but he kind of was more flamboyant, and that's kind of
Twin, yeah, Twin was the more powerful. He was the more aggressor. He'd get mad in the ring. Like he'd catch an attitude. He'd probably throw his gloves off, all that. That was that Andre. And then now you got Adrian. Adrian was the more like we call him Baby Floyd back then.
Okay.
When he was a little boy, like you know what I'm saying. So like yes, I've been knowing him. I grew up with his brother OB. I grew up with all of them. So like I know their whole family. Like so, yeah.
hit us up. Like, so all right. So like, what kind of student were you before you got into what I'm saying, the street life?
Well, I could say I was always like, I was always just loving and caring and like a protector. Like, cause it was like I said, it was put on me at a young age. Like I had to, you know what I'm saying, like make sure my little sister and little brother was all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, in our type of situations sometimes. So like going to school, like you gotta think I gotta take my little brother and sister to school. So I gotta walk them to school, this and that. And so it was more like that. I was already put into place like where I'm gonna have to be the leader of this family.
I have a question real quick for Mike. So is this thing synonymous across the board? Because it seems like we had the same running theme of black kids growing up in, you know what I'm saying, poverty or lesser than substance, you know what I'm saying, like standards, to where now the children are being forced to feel like they need to, you know, look out for their siblings, stuff like that. Is that synonymous across the board?
Like in Dayton here is what you're saying, or like in all over the place?
I'm saying black to white type of
Black
issue.
to white. Where I grew up, no, I grew up in a small town that I hated. That, you know, was rough in its own ways, but nothing like that. It's a whole. I mean, I could rant for days about how inner cities and the generational thing. It starts with get the parents out the way. Now you see the kids coming through, they're dealing with the same stuff, and nothing's being fixed. So it's forcing them to be in situations like that, just based on either parents in prison or having to work, or doing other things, or having too many responsibilities. So, I mean, I won't even get into drug war that started the whole thing back in the day, but it's a thing,
Right.
and it's tearing apart families that puts people in these positions, in my opinion. But I did not grow up in that situation, but I see it. I've worked in the juvenile system here. I've worked in felony common pleas. Misdemeanors is what they are, you know. But yeah, I mean, Dayton's a whole nother world from where I grew up. It really is.
Okay, so let it get to the point of where now you finally jump off the porch.
Yes.
What was your motivating factor during that time?
I'm gonna say the music.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, you got to think when I jumped out, I was like, I'm gonna say like 96 when I start thinking I could feel myself. You know, that was
time?
Master P.
Okay.
You know, that was like, you know, the ice cream mans, the TRUs, and so that started it. I'm like, oh, now I want to be a soldier.
Yeah.
I want to be a no limit soldier. He going
Yeah,
back.
we all want to be no limit
We got
soldier.
UGK.
Oh, he like up there, so it was leading up like, okay, like I'm about it. Like,
Yeah,
you know, you want to sound like him, like, you know what I'm saying, like who, you know what I'm saying, Woe Day, and also
Yeah.
it started with that, and then Cash Money came.
Oh yeah.
So now that kind of was like, okay, you know what I'm saying, they talking more about the bling bling and all that, so they want to shine and jerk. So now I want that type of stuff.
The bowl.
Yeah, all that. And so now we come into the East Coast time, like where now you got the DMXs, you got the Jay-Z's, you got them like just starting flooding the market. So now I want to be more like them now. So they was more like pushing the drug dealing heavy. I mean, and so like this is what you do to make it. And so now that started me into that time, like, you know what I'm saying? So I went from there.
So, like during this time, were there any things that, like, you can see now, you know, so like hindsight is always 2020, right? Or are there any things that you saw that were leading towards something ultimately happening with you being incarcerated, possibly?
Oh yes, yes.
How so?
Just it was always said to me, like you know, you wouldn't have been dead or in jail. Like this was gonna lead up to that, but. I'm like, I ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying, I ain't do this and that, and I ain't doing what everybody else ain't doing, this and that. And so like I seen that leading up to that, you know, like me being charged with some stuff when I was a kid, like catching, you know, drug cases and stuff, and you know, getting into stuff like going to juvenile court. Like, I mean, like I was just building up a bad reputation, a bad name for myself. And so now when I look back at it, I'm like, wow, this is why they wanted to take me off the streets.
Okay.
It wasn't because of something I did. They wanted me to take me off the streets because of my name. Who I was in everybody's name. It was like I was told too much negative power.
Okay.
It ain't like that.
So, prior to the situation that we will get into later, were you ever sentenced to something where you were like you had to be incarcerated?
No. The only thing I had was like, long as I was sitting in jail, probably like a month.
Okay.
And, you know what I'm saying? The Lord was blessing me to get out of drug dealing cases and stuff like that.
Okay, Mike, I gotta ask you right now, how much does like a person's street rep play in the role of sentencing or, you know, or fighting a case?
So I think in my early years of my career, it was more.
Mm-hmm.
They used to put gang specs on people, which is obviously just an enhanced sentence for a certain portion of the population. Anymore, I think the bench, at least locally, is getting more understanding of situations that people grew up in and the situations they're in now, and it's trying to be more fair. And so I think there's a drastic difference. So I think nowadays they don't look in it too much, but there's still, so we still have a prosecutor. They still put specs on some cases behind the scenes. It's called like a Matt Heck spec. And if there's a Matt Heck spec who's the prosecutor here, that means there's no offer, and no matter what the case is, whether they're guilty, whatever the facts are, I mean, it's like
Man,
they're going at you.
So that's the term railroads.
Yeah.
Are we using somebody's past criminal record to build this reputation for the person? Or are we just talking about just the legend of this person, like as far as like hearsay, like the judge will hear that this person is in the mix a lot?
And so the judges hear it because it comes from the prosecutors, and a lot of times where the prosecutor from is detectives. So like I said earlier, the situations that people are in, it depends which judge you get, which prosecutor you get, which attorney you get, but it also depends on which detectives are on the case. It depends on who the complainants are in the case. The detectives and complainants have a lot to say that lead to the prosecutor, then lead to the judge. So it really varies. So if detective just hates you, no matter what your past criminal record is, it doesn't matter. The detective's he can put a halt on everything happening all the way through.
Wow.
To balance that out, so if somebody was being accused of a crime, let's say that they do have this Matt Heck spec on them, right? And
A headstone is crazy.
It's crazy.
well, I'm saying,
I know about
but
him.
they're hearing about all of this bad stuff about this person. Would it be to the person's benefit to go and have people speak up on their behalf, like character witnesses? Do they work?
So at trial sometimes, but for defense witnesses, like the more witnesses you put up there, the more of a chance your case may unravel because something just crazy happens. Because we don't get to pick our witnesses, you know. So I try to limit it, and it depends who that person is. So that yes, it can help. Character witnesses for like sentencing, yes, in certain circumstances.
Okay.
But it really depends on who that person is.
Right.
So we already had this whole thing of, don't get a public defender, get a paid attorney. What is the actual balance of power when it comes to you spending for attorney or having someone who's a public defender? I mean, are public defenders reputable enough, or is it they too close to the situation? I think it would be great to answer.
So I hear that all the time, and I tell everybody is that you have to be comfortable with your attorney. I think we have a great, amazing group of public defenders, and if I ever got in trouble, there'd be some of them the first ones I go to. But I agree, there's some horrible public defenders that really shouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't have them represent my dog, So, but then private attorney-wise, it's the same. I mean, we train a lot of the private attorneys on how to do their jobs, But then it still comes to you have to have an attorney, no matter who it is, that cares about you, that will put the work in to fight for you, and to stand up to stuff like that happening. So it really varies. Money, I'm not saying it doesn't play a part at times, but in the end, I think it's just the situation again.
What does money do though to help a defense?
So the money, the worst thing is when people are in jail. The cases are so much tougher when the people are sitting in jail. Okay,
Because
because
say that again. I'm sorry.
the cases are so much tougher to work while your client's in jail, pending pre-trial, because it's so much easier with the client's out of jail, helping you investigate the case, helping gathering the witnesses, helping find the evidence, helping put the case together. Instead, they're in jail, and a lot of our clients don't have a family that support them, so it makes everything a lot harder when they're sitting in there, especially when they're actually innocent too, or even if they're not innocent. Guilty is a vague word, very vague, So in the end, the biggest thing with money is they're actually sitting in jail. With the case pending,
So in the process of becoming an attorney, a lawyer, esquire, right? What makes someone choose to be a public defender? Is it like a rite of passage, or something like you just do as a life calling? Cause what's the difference between, like, fundamentally why someone is a public defender versus them being a
private practice?
Yeah.
So it's probably different for each person. You want my specific reason? Is that what you're asking? I mean, I think I was made for this.
In general, but for you.
I grew up in that small town, and I got in trouble, and there were issues, and I saw what the justice system did to my friends and my family and all that. So I really grew angry towards a lot of things with the justice system, the police, you know, the judges, and it's weird coming in now as an attorney, and I came in with a vengeance, and I still have that with me. But I've realized there's some judges that are actually good human beings. There's some cops that are actually good human beings. And so when I came into it at first, I thought they all were horrible. So it kind of opened my eyes. But being as a public defender, I love it. This is me. I've been in the positions I understand what my clients are going through, how they're being treated. So I think for me, it's different. Other people, I don't know. Maybe they can't find another job. I don't know.
So basically, like public defender office is like a tip service kind of situation. Like you call them up, and say, "Hey, I got my license." You know what I mean?
A lot of new ones start there. I started the day I got sworn in, so that was what it was. It landed perfectly for me, and I don't think I mean, I see the other side. I see how much more money it is. I've been offered so many things, but I love my job, and if I can stay there and stay happy, I do it. But I mean, a lot of people go for the money and stuff like that too. So it is a lot of new attorneys start there.
Yeah.
But
Okay. So
Marty, walk us through the day that you got locked up, bro.
Well, it was when it happened, when everything happened, was 3 days after Christmas. It was December the 28th, 2007. And so I was in the house that night. It was 3 days after Christmas, so I had my youngest daughter with me at the time, and my oldest. My whole family in the house. My grandmother, she passed now. My mom, my dad, like they was all in the house. So like I had received my phone got the ring. I had a little migraine and stuff, so when my phone ring, I had to pick my phone up, and a friend of mine, he like, "Hey brother, where you at?" And I'm like, "I'm at the house." He said, "Man, I just heard a lot of gunshots," and I'm like, "Whoa, like." Go out there and make sure everything is all right. You know what I'm saying? Make sure everybody good and stuff. So he ended up going outside because he actually lived in the neighborhood. So when he go outside, he see ambulance and fire department everywhere. He say, "Bro, somebody out here dead." He asked somebody what's going on. They said somebody out here dead. I'm like, so I instantly rise up and go in there and tell my mother, like, "Mom, somebody just got killed in the Wine Terrace." She say, "Well, you was here. You ain't going nowhere. You was right here." I'm like, "Yeah, Mom, but I know I'm here, but you know how they feel about me. You know they gonna try to come bother me about this."
So I want to pause real quick. How did you have that inkling that they were going to come bother you for it?
Because because everything that was going on in that neighborhood, anything that happens, my name was the first name because I stayed all around Cincinnati. Like, I stayed in Mount Arb and downtown, Walnut Hills. Like I done lived everywhere. So like, and I got a big family. And so everybody know me. So like sometimes when they see like us out, like guys from that area, they go say Marty and them.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? I already knew, like, because they questioned me many times about, situations and stuff. So, like, I knew that they was going to come bother me. It was either questioning me or try to put it on me some type of way. Okay. And, I ain't know what was going on at the time. You feel me?
Did he tell you who it got killed, though?
No, he ain't tell me yet.
Okay.
I ain't find out that until that very next day.
Okay.
The very next day when it was on the news, they said the individual got killed. And so this individual got killed, he got killed. He was from Northside. Northside is an area that's like right down the street from Wine Terrace. And Northside was like, when we kids, like we going back and forth, like, it was just always rivals between these neighborhoods that surround each other. So like, that's where he was from. So by him being from down there, I'm being from up there, they instantly like, oh, it was Marty and them that did this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like now it turned into some neighborhood stuff.
Okay.
And so when the neighborhood stuff, guess what? That's when I guess his funeral was coming around and stuff. And then I heard my name, like they said my name, like Marty might have something to do with this.
You hearing this from the streets? You hearing this from?
I'm hearing it from the streets.
Okay.
I'm hearing it from the streets.
But did you and the person have any type of big?
No. Like it's deep because the guys that he was affiliated with, that he was cool with, like they was like a younger crew than me. So like I ain't had no problems with them. We used to speak, shake hands. Yeah. It wasn't no smoke at all, like at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like when all this happened, like it was like, whoa, like, and Next you know, my name get to coming up when his funeral came around, and you know, stuff like that going up. And then like it was like a week later, his funeral, they end up grabbing my co-defendant. I got a co-defendant. They end up grabbing him first. And when they grabbed him, I'm like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Like, and next thing you know, that very next week, I received a call from my mom. I ended up getting up early in the morning and I turned my phone on. And I'm on my way to my mother's house. And I get text message saying, don't go home. And so I'm like, what's going on? They said the DEA and the U.S. Marshals is at your mom's house. And so I'm like, whoa.
How'd you feel in that moment?
I'm like, my heart's get the beat, and I'm like, oh man, what the heck is going on now? Like, what is the feds trying to come grab? Because I hear DEA, and so I'm like, what's going on? Like, I'm like, gotta be that situation. So I'm like, Next thing you know, I end up calling my mama from the phone booth, and she was like, yeah, they said they looking for you for a traffic warrant. You know, my mama being mom, I knew, you know what I'm saying, like. So they looking for you for a traffic warrant. I'm like, Mom. I said, yeah, come on, man. They ain't about to come like that for a traffic warrant. Come on, be serious. Like, so she said, well, I'm calling an attorney. The attorney was named Hal Ernstine at the time. And she said, I'm calling Hal. So Hal was about to come pick me up. And before he could go ahead and take me down to turn me in or whatever. And I ended up going to my sister's house. And when I went to my sister's house, you know, they know everywhere you at. They know everywhere you at. So like, they end up pulling up to my sister's house. So I ain't want to go through that, take my sister through that, kicking down her door and all that. So I just went and went out and surrendered. You know, they put the cuffs on me and took me down to the homicide building.
So when you saw that, you was like,
Yeah, when they took me in, I already knew going up on that floor. I'm like, yeah, this is what this is about. So like, you know, that's when the detectives, they put me in a room. The detectives came in there and they trying to question me. I say, look, I ain't got nothing to talk about. You know, talk to my attorney. You know, they got to telling me what they have and like, we have this.
what were some of the things that they said that they had to be, you know, evidence?
They said they had a witness, a 15-year-old girl, and I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Wherever witness you had, they lying on me.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe y'all have a witness because I wasn't there. Like, so like, they showing me pictures. Like, do you know this guy? Do you know anything about this? And, you know, they got to saying this and that. So it got time. They end up walking out. And they end up coming back in, put the cuffs on me, said, yeah, you going over to the Justice Center. That's when they charged me with murder, felony assault, and tampering with evidence.
On the pause question, ask Mike a question. So, after you request for your attorney, are they legal allowed to still ask you questions?
No, they always do. So once you shut them down, once you say you want an attorney, it's supposed to stop under the law. But the law is, if they can keep you talking, that's why you have to stay consistent. Because if they get you talking, if you ever take the stand, they can't bring it up, the evidence up, if it's thrown out, the statements. Yes. But if they put you on the stand and you testify, or, you know, they can bring everything up that you said. You know, so if you want to take the stand, you have a right to testify, constitutional right to testify if you want to or not to. But if you get up on the stand because your story has to be told, and you know how they'll take stuff out of context. Was it recorded back then?
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, recordings help in those situations at times, but you know, it's just, even though they've committed a violation, they still get the story out. They get as much as the story they can out. Yes. And they can use it against you still.
What should somebody do in the exact situation that he was in? Got a text message saying that the police are looking for you. What should be somebody's next step to, you know, offer the best defense for themselves?
Call an attorney is number one, and you had that.
Yes.
Fleeing is probably the worst thing to do. I think that's, I mean, unless you can make it to Mexico and stay for a while, but fleeing, so some judges don't use it, but there's this flight instruction that they can give at a trial. And if you run from the scene or you take off, they have to go find a flight instruction. It pretty much says to the jury to presume this person's guilty unless there's evidence otherwise. It's a presumption of guilt instruction
To say that you ran.
I don't know why.
because you ran.
I don't watch some of the movies where the person be innocent and they flee and they gonna prove themselves be innocent. And then I watch some of the movies.
Oh, why they on the run?
It's crazy.
They always do that in the movies.
It's crazy.
That's me thinking that fairy tale land, and I come in with a flight instruction on mine.
Flight instruction. It's so bad. It's so bad. So yeah, as for the lawyer, I mean, you can't fight the police. You're not gonna win them on the street. You gotta go in, ask for an attorney, stay consistent, and just shut up until the attorney comes to talk.
Is there ever a situation where you should talk to
0 times, ever, never,
no matter what?
never?
But they, you know, they tell
I mean,
you,
you have to see
they
a
tell you
cop.
when they read the rights to you. They say you have the right to remain silent.
Yeah.
Anything you say will be used against you, against the law.
Mm-hmm.
They said will be used against. They basically tell us that.
What if I was in a whole nother continent, bro? Like I was out of like no, be quiet, go
Be
sit.
quiet, yeah.
Go sit in the county.
I'm telling you, man. And if you think about it, everybody's going to go in there and say they didn't do it. Everybody. They don't care that you say that. They're not going because you say it. They're not going to say, "Oh shit, you're right. My bad. We'll let you go."
So let's just say somebody
Oopsies.
accuses one of us of doing something, right?
Yeah.
And they was like, man, somebody was shot down the street at 7:14, and we right here on camera, and I got the video evidence to prove I was right here.
Yes.
That's gonna be a
Well, I hope that ain't the only copy.
to convict you on that one.
I hope that's not the only copy of that video you give them. But for real,
I mean, you shouldn't even
I've
say,
never
man, I was
seen-
right down the street, bro. I got the whole thing on tape.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's no vagueness in don't talk to the police. Get your attorney will be there that day. So
Yes.
call your attorney.
yeah.
What
I don't
you're
wanna
leaving
spend
it
the night.
open to interpretation on
You
when
want to
to
spend the night
speak.
with that bread?
I don't want to spend it.
Yes.
Order bread on that turn.
That's why I believe everybody should have, even if you're not commit any crimes, everyone should have a attorney that they have a relationship with. For this attorney could know you.
Yeah. Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like because now he go represent his client totally different.
Facts.
Like okay, the OIP know me. You know what I'm saying? They got to know me from 2012 till I got set free and still know me. Right. So like that was built over years that they seen what I was doing while I was incarcerated. They was able to investigate the case. They was able to look into they were able to meet my family. My mother and father was down there all the time talking to them. Like, and so like they was able to build that type of relationship with them. And so now the representation was totally different. The fight was different. Now they became part of it. Like, hold on. Like my attorney, Mr. Donald Castor, he became a part of my case.
Right.
Like this became a part of him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what made that different. Though I believe everyone should have an attorney. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just have someone, even if you just go down there and talk to them, go out to eat with them sometimes, offer them out to dinner, just getting to know these attorneys.
Right.
Your attorney, because it's
Bro,
different.
how should you approach
What you doing later today?
like
You know what I mean?
if you just well,
I got
saying,
pizza.
I think what you're saying is the right thing. That's a great approach to just life in general, knowing some attorneys. But at a young, like you was young back then.
I was 23, 22.
about 22.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes,
right.
I
So
was
you
young.
just now coming into your manhood, right?
Yes.
And you was kind of like still in the streets, right?
Yes.
So what should be somebody's approach if they was kind of living how you was living in order to even meet an attorney or to even try to be friends with an attorney? How do you think they should go about doing that?
Just probably could call them up and like see if you could come in for like some type of meeting. It's like what I would say now, it's like setting up to get like a doctor or something, like a primary care doctor or something.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like setting it up, like calling them up and just be like, like do your research on the attorney, see what type of attorney it is.
Yeah.
See what they practice in, and just you could do your research and call them up and say, you just want to meet with them because you was looking for some counsel.
Right.
And they will probably go ask you, is anything about what? They gonna take your name and stuff down, like, well, I just wanted some counsel for protection or whatever. And they'll just be like, okay, I want to talk to you in person about it.
Right.
And so you just, they go schedule the appointment for you, come in there and talk to them in person, like, how your money, right? They want their money.
Yeah.
They want their money. So.
Right.
What I need to just retain you in case this on hold, just in case if something happen, and then, just start building a relationship with them. Like,
So we talked about the difference between, public defenders. We talked about private attorneys. What is this prepaid legal service situation? Is that
like I only know about him like through like college and stuff. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't deal with that if I was private. I don't know.
Yes.
It's not like you should always be. If somebody calls you, you should help them, whether they paid you in advance or not. I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
I've not heard of too many people doing that though.
Yeah.
bro, once they officially charge you,
Yeah.
right? They take you to another place where where they just holding you for
Where they
trial.
process you.
Yeah, they took me to the Hamilton County Justice Center. That's the county jail down there.
All right, and then so I know since you innocent and they bringing you in here, in your mind you like, bro, they gotta figure this out to know that I'm
Yes.
innocent.
Yes, I'm like, I was so like, what is going on? It's like I'm getting like, who put this on me?
Right.
Like, who's saying my name? Like, who put me in this? Like,
Right.
that's where I'm going through. Then I'm thinking about my family. Like, now y'all putting this on my, because when you put it on my name, you put it on my family name.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, now my family got to deal with this. They got to deal because he have a family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, now my family have to deal with this. So I'm just going through so much. Like, I'm here innocent. I ain't did nothing. Like, what's going on? Now you got to wait for the process. You got to wait for the attorney. You got to, you know what I'm saying? You sitting here the next day, they give me $1 million bond. It just went from there. Like,
And it's about to be New Year's.
yeah, it was already, it was after New Year's.
Oh, this
They
was
arrested
after
me.
New.
Yes, sir.
This was okay.
Yes.
Right after New Year.
Right after New Year's. Like,
Yeah.
it was January 11, 2000 what? 8.
So I want to ask Mike real quick. How discriminatory is it when they put these exuberant bonds on people who could potentially be innocent? Because we have the premise of innocent until proven guilty.
Horrible. Bond should be illegal.
Yeah.
For real. Cash bond is insane.
Mm-hmm.
There's no difference between I mean, it's about protecting the society, right? Bond is what they say. But why is the community safer if this person's stuck in jail because they can't afford it, but the same person, same facts, same everything, can pay a $50,000 bond and that person on the street? It makes no sense to me. So, I mean, at times I understand maybe put somebody in jail if there's evidence of dangerousness and all that stuff, but in the end, money should play no part.
But is the bond collateral for you to come back to court?
But there's other ways to get collateral to come back to court than saying pay us some money.
Like
really
like
is.
what? What's another?
I mean, there's all types of conditions they can put on people.
Mm-hmm.
You put them on house arrest if you have to with work privileges. Put them, put no contact orders on. There's all types of sanctions they can put on somebody while you're out to make sure. You can set court dates. If they don't show up, then go arrest them, and then you don't get a bond.
Right.
You're sitting in jail.
Yes.
You can't assume
Yes.
something's going to happen before. I mean, it's crazy to lock people up for so long at times.
What about in the case of P. Diddy, right? Which I like to argue back. He has no. I'm only asking because he has different resources than the average person.
Mm-hmm.
He could be a potential flight risk, right? Because he has his own private jet. How could you stop someone like that from them
So you can
flying to Bali?
Yeah, I mean, you can. There's orders you can take away passports. There's orders you can. I mean, you can put any order under that you can think of as long as it's reasonable requirement. I mean, there's ways to handle situations. And P Diddy be found if he tried to go to.
Yeah,
So in the end,
Plastic surgery. I mean, he can do a lot with the money he got.
But what the problem with leaving people out on certain occasions? I mean, bad facts make bad laws. So they open it up and something happens with one person, it's going to affect everybody
Yes.
behind him in line.
Yes.
For sure.
Everybody. And
Okay.
so, yeah.
All right, so back to the story where we're in there, Marty. So this is, you go up there, they throw that $1 million bond on you because, like, you're probably thinking, hopeful, like, by the time you go there to arraignment, they're going to tell you, you got the wrong guy, you're going home.
Yes. I'm thinking that because they gotta give you an indictment after that, so you gotta sit in there 2 weeks,
Wait on the
and that
yellow
case
sheet.
gotta go to the grand jury, yes, and then they go from there. So I'm thinking like, hopefully, man, within these 10 days, like it'll come back and it's ignored, the truth go come out or whatever. So no, papers came from up under that door. Yes,
So,
it's on you
Did
now.
you get a
man.
chance to talk to your co-defendant though?
No,
Any of the time when
I
you
ain't
was
get
locked
to
up?
I ain't get to talk to him at all, like because he already was in there, so they separate you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, if I see him like at court, he might be across the walkway and you might say, hey bro, that was it. But we wasn't like housed together or anything like that.
So a lot of times when they put you on separation like that, it's for two reasons. Maybe he made a statement against you, which is typically
Well, it could be that, but sometimes they'll do that too because they can't probably get somebody to talk. Or later on down the line, like, you know what I'm saying, they want y'all away because they feel like they don't want y'all to come up with a plan to win this case.
right.
So, did they ever come back and try to do another interview with you with your attorney present, or
No, oh no, they
after the first time it was just over?
it's like you did it, this what we got locked up. That's
Did
what
they,
it is.
when they was giving you the facts of it though, was they implicating your co-defendant in it too? Like you guys was together when
Yes.
it happened? Okay.
Yes, they say me and him acted together.
Yeah.
doing
What was
it.
the story that like they told you was their narrative?
Yeah.
Well, they ain't tell me anything. They just basically saying that, did you ask me, did you know him? And they ain't say, the police they ain't say nothing else to me at all. Like, that was my last time even seeing them, except for when I go in the courtroom.
But you did know the person.
Yeah, I knew of the person. Like, I did not know the guy that got murdered personally. Like, I just knew of him, like, because I knew guys he used to be with. I did not know him, like.
Your co-defendant is what I'm asking.
Did I know the co-defendant? Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
I know the co-defendant. Yeah.
And then like they asked you that, and then you agreed to that, or you didn't say anything at all.
Yes, I agreed to that. You know, it ain't no what I'm alive for. Yeah, like,
Right.
yeah, I know him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, y'all hung, yeah, y'all know we hang together. Y'all know we be in the same neighborhood together. Y'all know that.
Right.
Now, from a lawyer's perspective, is that something like they can draw to be like collusion,
So what do you mean? What do you?
such as him giving that basic knowledge, saying yes, I know him, yes, we fly, yeah, we kick it. Is that enough for some time for this
Mike
day?
said, "Don't say nothing."
Nothing. And think about it. Like they have elements. They know the cops know the elements they're going for.
Yes.
And they got to prove 5. They try to get any information on any. The more the merrier. They don't have to get it all full confession. But I mean, just saying you know this person that already has a connection. Saying and. So so what are they're going to say? They're friends. They know him. That dude was, I don't know what happened to the co-defendant, but he 100% did it, and so they're friends. And it adds that connection. Without that statement, prove my case.
Because, you know, they got a booklet right here.
Yeah.
I know it's in there. I know y'all got pictures of us.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, when they asked me in the meeting, like, you know such and such, yeah, I know.
When you really innocent, I think that it's a natural inclination.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Just
Prove
say,
your
like,
innocence.
bro, I didn't do shit.
That's what I was on. Like, man,
Yes,
y'all,
I know him,
I know
bro.
him, man.
What else y'all got?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What else?
But you saying though,
Yeah.
as innocent as you are,
That's the
Don't-
worst times to speak.
You don't
but
say.
see, they make it.
Worst
But you
times.
know how the vibe is. It's like if you don't talk, you're hiding something. So they try to like say,
It
"Oh,
is.
you don't want to say nothing because you hiding something and you guilty." But you got to be strong through it all and stand on your square and just say,
Yes.
"I can't talk."
'Cause whatever you say, they gonna use it against you. Like you
Yeah,
said, like
yeah.
if you say you know this guy, they gonna use it against you.
Right.
Like, well, you said you know him, but that's only if you talk to him. Period. Like if you just be like going there and just, I don't think nobody really do it. Just go in there and sit and just be like,
Right. Yeah, bro. That's tough.
And
There are some.
it's
You know what I'm saying?
ingrained when you grow
I
up.
watch interrogation videos all the time, bro.
Yeah.
Probably worse than any American out there. I watch interrogation. I watch them all the time. And this one guy was in there, and he actually like let him talk, and this whole time he just masterminded the whole time. Like he never gave him anything.
yes, yes, that's deep. You know, like, but if you watch First 48, most of everybody
Oh,
saying,
yeah. Hey,
they talking. Hey, yeah. Like, and that's a big percentage.
I'm
Like,
taking a cigarette, a Coca-Cola,
Yeah.
and a plate of food, but they didn't tell everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, then Johnny came down there.
I'm telling you. And you're, I don't know, so in high schools, cops come and speak to classes, right? You're taught to like them. They're here to help you.
Yeah.
And when, you're taught your whole life, cops are there to help you.
Yes.
And then in that situation, I'm telling you, if you're a suspect in something,
oh, they taking you
they don't
down.
care what you say. They're just going to keep you talking and talking and talking until they say something you want. And we go around now and talk to high schools. Public defenders do. And we're like, who's ever had a public defender come to your class? And nobody. You're taught that cops are your
Down in
friends.
school.
Cops are
Out
there to
of-
help. You know?
Out of
Help
10
your ass right to the damn
prosecutors,
jail cell.
out of 10 prosecutors,
Uh-oh.
how many of them want to really get the person responsible for the crime versus just a conviction?
It's getting better than it is. I can't say it's 100%
Over them
now,
dockets.
What you
Yes.
think?
but you can tell the humanity is getting better.
though.
You can tell
It's getting better though.
with the
I can't say
prosecutors.
that.
For sure.
I can say
You know, I mean, I'm not saying all of
They
them.
want
I
to
won't
get the
name
person
names.
that's responsible.
I can say
for
it's getting better because now they're getting young. You look at him. He say he grew up in a small town,
Yeah.
and look how he feel against everything. Like,
Right.
and we got all these people that's coming up through Innocent Project. We got everybody that comes out of Innocent Project is not attorneys. A lot of them go to be public defenders. I mean, they go to be prosecutors too. I got one fellow that was on my case, and she is a prosecutor down in Texas.
So
You know what I'm saying? So like but it's go help out somebody because
Absolutely.
if somebody's screaming at innocent, she go still go back and be like,
Yes.
well, I worked at the Innocent Project.
Yeah.
This guy can be innocent. Let me look into this.
Yeah, you changing the system
Yes,
from within.
yes.
So,
Yes.
so like back to the story, right? So like after you go to court, boom, you come back. Now they tell you don't talk about your case with anybody, but when you get around people long enough, you do start to feel a little more closer to them. You eat meals with them, you working out with them, you going to rec yard with them, rec and stuff like that. Did you ever discuss any particular parts of your case with anybody?
No, because what I'm gonna discuss if I ain't doing anything. You know what I'm saying? So like the only thing I can say is I'm innocent. I'm innocent. I don't know who did what. Like I don't know nothing about nothing. And so like, but they still like what I would tell somebody if you going in for a murder case, a murder charge. I told a guy this before. I said I should have just went and played crazy and they put me in an orange jumpsuit and just kept me in the dang on cell.
Yep.
So I went to trial.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because now y'all have proof that I wasn't around anybody to talk to them. You know what I'm saying? Like I should have did that. That probably would have came out better. Like because I had a jailhouse informant that jumped on my case.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he got some stuff off news or talking around, calling out, talking around, like probably got some stuff from the detectives too. Like and they used that against me in trial.
So before we get there, right? There is a sense of jealousy when people are just locked up. Period. I mean, it's a normal emotion in life, right? Like, there were times back in my past life where, you know what I'm saying, like when you're sitting in there and then you in there for, let's say, 6 months or whatever, you in there fighting your case, and somebody in there crying because they got sent for a weekend, you look at them like, man, you going home on Monday, bro. Like, what are you sitting here crying and you sit here bitching, you keep on using the phone, you keep talking to your... So when you're in there and like you're going through that saying, I'm innocent, do you feel like that could have potentially put a target on your back to make people be jealous of you because you were trying to get out? Some people just ready to go to their next dorm, their next situation.
Well, yeah, it could put some jealousy in some people, but like a lot of people come in there, they cause like he said, everybody come in there and they screaming that, so they probably like, well, whatever. Shoot, I'm innocent too.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
that's how I'm innocent too. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They
So,
got blood on their
like,
shirt.
everybody in here, like, we innocent, bro. Like, we ain't, yeah. So, like, that's just how it is. So, like, it ain't like nobody really, like just now, it can be like when they know you about to go home.
Yeah,
It can get like that.
for sure.
Like, people could be, get real crazy about that.
For sure. So this person who did not interrupt the podcast with his music in the background.
Yes.
And this person who was the person they used as their star witness in your case. What was your rapport with that person?
Well, when I came inside the pod, when they put me in where they was gonna house me at to trial, or to a bond been made or something, but when I went in there, you instantly goes in there and like I hear guys from every pod saying, be careful over there. They got jailhouse snitches on the floor.
So
jumping-
multiple ones.
Yeah, multiple. Yeah, jailhouse snitch because you had murder pods. And so they had murder pod, then they had a PC pod right next to ours.
Okay.
Where they shut everything down when they come out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like they had a murder pod, so like guys on know from the streets coming in, don't talk about your case up here, but don't say nothing, don't talk to nobody. You know what I'm saying? You got guys in here jumping on cases, man. One of them over there, his name such and such. They got saying the name and all that. So like I'm already going in there, like, and my lawyer just told me, like, don't talk about nothing in there.
Right.
And I already know not to talk about nothing. And so like when I go in the pod, you know everybody looking, what's up, bro? What's up? I go straight to my cell, close the door, boom. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to
Pressing
deal with
your
nobody.
right.
Yeah, I'm like, it took me a few days to probably even come out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm still trying to, get this together and swallow it, whatever. So, like, that's when that went. And so, when I got in there, it was a guy in there. His name was, they called him White Chocolate at the time. And so, he, this dude, like, he was already down there jumping on like 5-6 people cases. They telling like,
So well, they know this already.
everybody know that. He just putting them in different pods. Like he was already locked up for killing a 16-year-old boy, stabbed him to death. So he ain't care. Like he ain't care. He ain't care about none of that. So he already was probably jumped on like 6-7 people cases or something. And so what happened was when he was all of a sudden, he was in a pod with us all this time. And so he all of a sudden moved one day. You know what I'm saying? Like they came and packed him up and said they moving him because he stayed into stuff in there too, messing with people. Like he just was childish for real.
Mm-hmm.
And so
He was white.
yeah, they kind of white, he mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
They got the article on Enquirer right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's up. So like he said that so when he said that or whatever, when he moved out the pod, I'm like, dang, I wonder what's going on with him. So everybody looking like, who case he done jumped on? Like, I'm like, yeah, I wonder who case he done jumped on. So I'm like, oh shoot. So like next thing you know, everybody in there like, what the heck going on? Like, cause they moved them. And usually when they do that for no reason, either you put a separation on somebody.
Facts.
And so next thing you know, my lawyer ended up coming to see me. This was like, we had a court date scheduled, like a motion to suppress identification hearing scheduled because the witness had already went back, doubled back, told the prosecutors and them that I didn't have anything to do with it. They having doubts about me and everything. So they was already like, oh, okay. So like my lawyer came and see me. He like, well, you know this guy? Picture come out.
White chocolate on it,
White
baby.
chocolate.
I said, man, what the heck he done did? Well, you know, this is something they do down here. Like, it's what you call a jailhouse snitch. I say, a jailhouse snitch. Now, I'm like, what do he have to say? Like, I mean, really, like, you was locked up when this happened. Like, you don't know me. Like, I don't know nothing about you or none of that. Like, when this situation happened, he was already locked up.
Right.
So anything he coming in here to say will be hearsay. That would be somebody told him that, and who could have told him? I ain't tell him. So he either get stuff off the news, off newspaper, or the detectives told him.
So how publicized was your case?
Oh, it was publicized. They because they was trying to link to neighborhood gangs. Like they were trying to say the Wine Terrace Bloods and the Northside Taliban. So they trying to like put them at odds with each other. They trying to make it big, like, you know what I'm saying, so they can get these convictions. Because that's at the time that's when they was wrapping everything up, where they was coming after like these so-called gangs.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That was the time when they had these different task forces, and what they was doing was
Dayton too. Around
yeah,
that time.
they was chasing them down, like anything that had any connection or anything, they chasing them gangs down.
Yeah. So I want to defer to you real quick. But in a legal perspective, how credible are jailhouse snitches in the legal system?
They can be powerful. It depends on.
Ouch.
They can be. Sometimes they come off as they are, which I don't think that any of them should be trusted ever.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows.
Yes.
You know, you get in jail, you're told by everybody. You know, and it's usually the ones that are facing the high sentences. And I've only had a few cases with them on with it on, but I mean, there's a jury instruction that says you really need to take a look at this person. So I don't know how long that's been around, that jury instruction, but they tell the jury, like, you need to make sure this person's trustworthy. So they have that now, but they don't use them too much up in Montgomery County, which is pretty respectable, I guess.
So from your expertise standard, how effective was that person in your case that like you were fighting?
I mean, it didn't help. I can think of two now. One was a hung jury still. You know, one was a hung jury, and the other one, I didn't end up trying the case. It went to another attorney. They were convicted. That was a murder case.
So a jailhouse snitch, their motivation is to get time taken off of their sentence. Is that right?
100%.
So,
But it doesn't come off that way.
Are you allowed to bring that fact out to say, you know, hey, this person made a deal with the prosecutor
Yes.
to get time taken off their sentence? So
Okay.
with that, isn't it reasonable doubt that their testimony is like tainted?
They work it. They know how to work it. They know how to make it come off good. And a lot of times they can say, we don't have an agreement. I'm just doing the right thing, you know. But you don't know what was said in those conversations.
Yep.
You don't know what happens to their prison sentence
They don't have
after
to
they
disclose
testify.
whether this person has a
Oh,
deal for that.
they're supposed to. They're supposed to, and it's getting better. There's contract signing and stuff now, but you've seen cases from back, you know, people. I mean, a lot of
That
times,
shit
I mean,
sounds so bad though, man.
yes.
Like a jailhouse
Yes.
snitch is
He-
testimony.
He jumped
Yeah.
on 5-6 people.
when they
That's
obviously
crazy.
got well, that's another big deal.
Guess how much time he got?
How much?
He did 3-4 years in the county. He went to DCI, Dayton Correction Institute. He went there for 15 months and went home.
What?
So he did altogether probably 5 years.
After killing
After
that
stabbed to
is-
death a 16-year-old boy. I mean, they got the knife in his hand, all the evidence and everything. My lawyer bring it up in court. And when my lawyer asked him, like, is you hoping for leniency? He said, yeah, I hope so.
wow.
He said, I hope so. He said what I did was off the movie. He put with that, like, yeah, he said like all type of stuff, like, and like he put what the streets was talking about, said we was beefing over some stolen guns. Come on now, we weren't beefing over no stolen gun. This boy is younger than me. He only like probably 19 years old. You know what I'm saying? I'm somewhere else. I'm not thinking about this kid.
Right.
At the time, he was a kid to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was in a whole nother lane, whole nother league at that time. So like, you a kid to me. So like, I ain't got
You
no,
in the G League,
I ain't got
bro.
no,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
I ain't
saying?
got no
NBA.
reason to beef with you or have any smoke with you. And his guys know that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got no problems with you, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, they put that out there like that, and that's when that jailhouse informant go say that we was beefing over some stolen guns and talking about I put him in the middle of the street, set him cross, made him sit Indian style, shot him twice in the head. Come on, like it said, yeah, I filled him with he said some stuff off a movie. It was just so unbelievable. Like what the heck? What the hell
I
is he
whispered
called?
in
Yeah,
his ear
come on,
before.
man.
Like, come on, bro. What
Yes.
movie you watching?
Yeah.
So before we get to the fact of you fighting, you know, like you taking the trial.
Okay.
Were there any deals that were sent to you prior to you taking the decision to taking the trial?
Oh yes, my lawyer came to me. He said, yeah, I gotta tell you this because they have to tell you.
Absolutely.
They offered you 6 years for murder. They said you could do 4 and come home. So I do 6 years, do 4, and I come home. This me.
At this moment, how long were you locked up?
I was already locked up for almost a year.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
about a year.
So a year good time served already. That'll place you home in what? A year and a half, 2 years?
3,
3
4,
years.
about 4, 5 years. Yeah.
Okay. What were your thoughts when you heard that?
No, I ain't did nothing. I ain't taking nothing for something I ain't do.
It's hard.
Let's go. Like I'm like, nah, like my lawyer, you know, he looked a little bit, but like I'm like, you know, I asked him like, you know, what can happen? He said, well, you know, we go to trial. He said, I don't want to really try in front of the judge. He didn't want to do no bench
That's
trial. He
right.
said a jury trial. So I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I said, let's go ahead and go. And went from there. That's when we went to trial.
So wait.
You know, and my bad. But let me say this too. The same way I feel like a jailhouse snitch should be looked at with the side eye. I think when somebody is offered such a, and I'm gonna say that's a great deal for somebody who really committed murder.
Yeah.
Yes.
6 years.
Yes.
And for you to turn that down, to me, I would be looking at that as like, this is an innocent man who's not about to, you know what I'm saying? Like go to jail for something that he didn't do. As his attorney, are you allowed to bring up the fact that they offered him
No.
a deal with 6 years and he said no?
Nope.
But isn't that a fact about the case though? Why isn't that allowed to be admitted as evidence?
Nothing about plea negotiations are allowed because more things are said than just like here's your offer 4 years. Like it's going back, prosecutors saying things, defense counsel. So if it's allowed, that's allowed. Like there's a lot of conversation trying to get when people are wanting to play out to get to where it needs to be. So all those conversations are out,
What was the
including
reason?
the offer.
My bad, Mike.
No, you're
but
good.
what was the reason why they offered you such a low amount of time for a murder?
Well, because they had 2 eyewitnesses, which was the victim cousin, well, a good friend of his cousin. They was tight, and the witness that the reason I got even picked up for was this witness, this 15-year-old girl. She recanted.
Mm-hmm.
She recanted at my motion to suppress. I had a hearing before that, a motion to suppress identification hearing, and at that hearing, because it was a problem with this identification, my lawyer wanted to know. And so like at the motion to suppress identification hearing, the witness, she got up there and said like, I know what I said before, but I'm having doubts about Marty. I just assumed that it was Marty because I seen his co-defendant. And my lawyer was like, well, you usually see them two together. She said, yes, I see them two together at times, but I'm not for sure about Marty. I did not see Marty.
Yeah.
And so the victim cousin get up there, sworn in. This is cousin. This is the one he was with. He said, yeah, I was there. He said he was shooting at the person that was doing this to his cousin. He said he was shooting at him to try to get him away from his cousin. And they asked him about me. He said, no, I ain't see Marty. He said, I know Marty enough that if I seen him, I would be able to identify him. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? This is what he said. Mm-hmm. So like, that was it. They ain't even put the jailhouse foreman up there yet.
Right.
So after them two eyewitnesses said, these the two main eyewitnesses that they had. And so like, right after that, we had to go to 2 weeks. After the 2 weeks went by, the judge denied my motion to suppress identification hearing and said we setting it for trial. And that's when they came with the deal, said no. And then that's when we started with that trial, like a month later.
So I got a question.
Well, when two witnesses both have came in and recanted, why would a judge still not just dismiss the case at that point? Because they don't have any evidence against him.
So you asking me?
Yeah.
Prosecutors are the most powerful people in this state. Judges can't just dismiss cases for the most part. Very limited circumstances. Mm-hmm. The prosecutors have the discretion to dismiss cases. So I would guess it was them that wouldn't dismiss it.
So what was your attorney's outlook over your case? Was he telling you, man, I can beat this? Was he saying it's 50-50? Was he giving you any type of outlook on what he could potentially do in this case?
See, the attorney I had, Mr. Hal Ernstein, he ain't like that. Like, he basically like letting you know like what can and can't happen. Like what can, like it could go either way. It's like chess. Mm-hmm. Like he basically he ain't telling me like, oh, I could beat this. Like I could beat this. Yeah, this over with, this and that. Like, no, he ain't tell me that. He ain't tell me that we was gonna lose either. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He just said like we go pick these jury and jury could be either way. You know what I'm saying? So like basically it was like taking a chance.
Yeah, he keeping it real.
You taking a chance though, like, but like you have a good case. That's what he said. Your case is good. You have a great case. You have this witness recanting. Like he said, the prosecutors and the detectives just ain't want to let it go. They don't want that loss on their belt. They don't want that.
Did the two witnesses who initially who recanted their testimony, did they get called into trial?
Well, one witness recanted. The other witness, which is the victim cousin, that said he was right there with him, that said he was shooting too. He even when they showed him a lineup on me, none of that. Right. He been told them from the beginning that I was not the guy at all.
For sure.
So the other witness, she the one that came back and recanted.
So
guess what they asked her? They asked her too. I forgot to tell you this. They asked her how she feel threatened or intimidated. She said, yes, I feel threatened and intimidated by the prosecutor and the police. They telling me that if I don't come to court that they gonna take me to jail, which they did take me to jail because I did not show up to court.
Wow.
So they thinking that somebody got to her or threatened her or something like that. She said,
that 15-year-old girl?
Yes.
Was this at your trial?
This was at the motion suppression hearing and the trial. She said it at both. I had two hearings. So, I had pre-trial, then my trial.
Okay.
So from a lawyer perspective, do you think it would have been better for his attorney to step in, go reach out to these people personally, and then make them witnesses for him?
I mean, I can't step in that position without knowing, I guess, everything.
But from his perspective of her recanting her story, her saying, I'm not sure, I don't know, making it like, because to me, I feel like, this is me just being Peanut, of course, it's Book of Peanut, it's not the law of the land. If I was attorney in that case, I would say, okay, you recanted the story, I'm going to be a person where, if I'm knocking your door, I'm not intimidating you, I'm an attorney.
Yeah.
I would like you to be a witness on behalf of my client.
Yeah, just say I was there and he wasn't.
So, I guess you'd have to look at the other evidence. In the end, she still said it at one point. Okay. So you put her on the stand, a 15-year-old girl, who the prosecutor then cross-examined and say, you said it was him day one. Yeah. And there's some scary people, aren't they? They could do bad things to you.
Yeah.
And now you're here saying,
Yeah, you just want her to go.
You're
ahead
a
and
young,
testify at
you
all.
know. So I don't. I mean,
Yes, they.
Yeah,
that's
it
how
could
they
backfire
carry.
on
That's,
you.
it. That's how they carry.
It could backfire on you potentially.
All right, bro. So let's go to the day where we took it to the box, right?
Yes.
All right. So the jury comes back out and they say guilty, bro. At that moment, man, what was going on?
Okay, I have a little question before that.
Okay.
Before they get to that point of, let's say, closing arguments, how confident were you in that point of like closing arguments? Both sides have already fought their case. Now it's time for them to go to the. How confident were you in that moment?
In the closing arguments, that was my first time in the trial. So after the closing arguments, I was scared.
Because did you feel like there were things that you thought should have been said that wasn't?
Yes, I think some things probably should have been pressed a little bit, like, you know what I'm saying? But like, I was afraid because I felt like the prosecutor had a good closing argument. Like, he was tough.
He went in.
Oh yes,
What was some of the things that he kind of like nailed it down on?
He kind of called me a desperate man, like do desperate things, and like it's just the way he did it at the end of that trial, man.
There's some magic to it.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Like, I mean, like, I'm gonna go in and put this out here. I had 14 white jurors.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? And I learned something after a while from an attorney that he said because it got something to do with voting.
Mm-hmm.
They say a jury of our peers, but our peers don't vote. Our peers don't go out and vote. That's what making it different now when you go to these trials, because now our peers voting.
Yeah.
So now when you go to a trial, you go see people that look like you.
And the jury selection process, you get a chance to pick each one
Yes.
together.
Yes.
So you still ultimately chose these 14 white jurors.
Yes. And my lawyer told him, like, I want to let you know, Judge, that we have 14 white jurors up there. None of them jurors ain't black.
Mm-hmm.
What made you pick those? I mean,
I was kind of at the place like, you
was
know
it
what?
bad or like what was the situation where you picked them ultimately for the?
Well, because it wasn't nothing to pick. Like, it wasn't that many blacks in there to pick.
it was slim picking.
Like, yeah, it was like one guy, he got up there, but that was one of the ones they could dismiss because, you know, they got a certain amount. We have a certain amount.
Yeah.
So that was the one they could dismiss. They could dismiss him because he had a prior record. So they was able to argue that we had a side hearing and everything about him. I wanted him bad. I'm like, oh, I need him.
Yeah,
I wanted
need
him.
run the room.
And it's crazy because we had a police chief, the police chief daughter. I wanted her too.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was more like, you could tell like she more ain't just go for anything.
She gonna listen.
She gonna listen. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I kind of wanted her. And so, but it ain't go that way. I got 14. I think they tired them out. And yes, they was hung for like 2-3 days.
Okay, so let's get to the point of the prosecutor moonwalked in the courtroom that day.
Oh yes, he moonwalked. Ah man. God.
Your attorney go there.
That man, like I could give it to that man. Like when he sat in there, I was like, he sent me back so scared.
Damn.
My heart was beating. That prosecutor, he did his thing, man. They call him a shark. When I was even going in there, the COs, the correctional officers, like, oh, that's your prosecutor. I'm like, he's a shark.
Damn.
Like, man, yeah, he ain't easy.
You know what the shark was?
Yeah, I'm like, ooh, we like, so I'm like, I'm thinking, I got high, like, I ain't going, like, you know what I'm saying? And shoot, he got the best that day.
Okay, so boom. Now we at the point where I'll ask the question. So now you're sitting there, the moment's right before they announce. Well, like walk us through the whole process of them announcing that now they have a.
Yes, well, it took them, like, they started deliberating on a Wednesday.
Okay.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they came back. The jury's couldn't come up with a decision. They wanted to ask the question. So they called it, asked the question. It was about 2 o'clock that day. So they went ahead and sent the jury home for the weekend.
What was the question that they asked?
They asked about, they was asking about the tape that they was allowing in as evidence. See what they did, the homicide detective got up there and testified. And see, when he testified, they allowed his statement, what he said on court, they allowed that in. They allowed the witness that when she said it was me at first, they allowed her statement in, her recorded statement in through his testimony.
Ooh,
and they used it as evidence against me.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because at first they weren't allowed to hear what she said.
Right.
But when he got up there and testified and said she said this, they played her testimony in the middle of the court and let the jury hear what she was saying. And that's what made the prosecutor eat. But my lawyer tried to fight that. He objected to it. They denied it. And they allowed it in as evidence against me.
Yeah. Even though she had came in there and recanted, like on trial in front of the jury.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
still.
because
But they basically was trying to like play it like you intimidated her.
Yes, they was
into
trying to play
they
that.
can strike her statement out, but they still allow it backdoor through his
through
testimony
that.
of it.
He was like, this is what she told us.
Right.
I'm an officer of the.
And here's the evidence.
This is what she
like,
told
yeah,
me. She
exactly.
told me this like a week after this happened. This what she came down and told us. But okay, I heard money was given out. I heard y'all put her in a safe house. I heard y'all bought her mama a car. I mean, these the things that came out later. Like that I was hearing, like, yeah, she driving, they got this, they got that. You know, they get Crime Stopper money anyway. So like that's probably about $2,500, $3,000. It was 3 days after. I mean, it just all type of different things was coming up around that time. So like, I'm like, wow, they was up to something. So like when they allowed that in, that did it. So it went through the weekend. Monday was a holiday. Tuesday, it's crazy. On Tuesday, called me in there at 1:30 p.m. Said they had a verdict. They took me down there and they came back guilty on all charges.
How'd you feel in that moment?
I just heard screaming in the courtroom, and I looked back at my mama. She said, "We appeal it. We go appeal it." But I'm like, "Dang!" And my attorney was like, "We appeal it. We got it. We got this amount of time before we file it." But me, I ain't know how that process go and how it worked. The thing, appeals don't be heard for real. So like, I'm like, I ain't know that. I'm like, okay, I could appeal it. Once they see this, I'm getting up out of here. So another witness came forward. This was the girl, her cousin. They was in the same house together, watching the whole thing. Guess what she said? She came down my lawyer office, wrote an affidavit. Marty was not there. We was in my house. We was both looking out the balcony window. Marty was not there. I know Marty. I've been knowing him since I was 8 years old. Marty was not there. We presented that to the judge. That's what the judge crossed it out. We should have been used that. It's on to go with sentence. They sentenced me to 31 years to life in prison.
When you was there, though, what your mom was in the house with you when all of this went down, though, right?
Yes, sir.
And she came to court and testified that you was with her as
no, well, I ain't I asked my lawyer about that at the time, but at the time, like, I'm thinking like, and when I'm talking, I'm like, what if I put my mom and them up there? He like, well, you know, they think my mama lie for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but me thinking back now, I'm like, I should put my mom up there. I should have put my grandma up there. Absolutely. I should have put my daddy up there. Right. I should have put that's me. I'm my family. So I could have put them up there. Like they was gonna go do nothing but tell the truth.
Right.
Like, but me, I'm so much like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I should have put them up there. That's who I was in the house with.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's your alibi right there.
Yes.
Bro. You know what I mean?
So at the moment of you said 31 years. What were some of the things that like could have happened? Like, could it be a lower sentence? What was the max?
I'm like, dang man, they got me like this. I probably should have took the plea deal. Like I'm thinking like that. Like, what is this gonna do? I should have took the plea deal. Like dang. Like at least I won't have 31 years to life. Like how, you know what I'm saying? Just it's like that was it. And that very next week they just rolled me. They rolled me up to the CRC and left me there for 30, 60 days. They rolled me to my parental institution.
So during this time, is the family still holding you down? Like, what's the energy like when it comes to people on the outside?
Well, you got a sight out of mind. Like, like now the main people that was my support was my mama, my family, my immediate, like my mama, my sisters, you know what I'm saying? Like my pops, my brother-in-law, like my little nieces and nephews. I had them, like, but they was babies. They adults now. They actually grew up while I was in there. So, like, I had my immediate family. I could say that. And I had a few, just people along the way out, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was with me too. So I had good family support.
Did you feel any side of the family kind of lose hope or kind of feel like maybe you did it? Was there any energy like that towards anybody who was?
No, it wasn't no energy like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't no energy like that. Well, it was a comment made that, from It's from somebody that said something to my mother before, you know, talking about something. But like, it wasn't like my family, they knew I ain't do it. They knew where I was at. And so they never like came at me like, you know what I'm saying? Now they got to a point where is I'm ever gonna get up out of there? Oh yeah, they probably lost hope a lot off that. My mama did though. My mom and my dad, my mama, she was like, you be every year, every second, every day, she said, you coming home. You'll be home this year. You'll be home this year. You'll be home this year. I'm getting frustrated now. Like, Mom, come on, Bob. So I know you coming home. And so that she was real big on that. Like, so
What was the transition from being hopeful coming home to now you in bed mode? Like now you bed. Like,
oh well, once I lost my first appeal.
whoa, let's go there first. I didn't know about you. So the appeal process, you got granted that within how much time?
Shoot, that took 15 years.
15 years to get your first appeal.
No, my first appeal took like a little bit 18 months.
Okay, so 18 months. Now, you know what I'm saying? You got the new evidence out there of the person saying that, or no? Like it's already striked away from you. So, like, what was the basis for them approving your appeal? Because like, a lot of times you got to say, okay, this is the reason why I'm appealing it because these things were ignored or violated.
Well, it's see, you got state law and you got federal laws. Like, I put an appeal in, and it was I was trying to argue a federal law on top of a state law, and I hear a respond back from attorney like, well, that ain't got nothing to do with basically you in the wrong place to even try to argue that. By law in the state of Ohio, they can't do that.
So you were doing this by yourself, or did you have help from an attorney?
I had another attorney by the name of Mr. Robert Hastings. He did my first appeal, and I ended up getting 8 years taken off.
Okay.
For allied offenses. You know, allied offense thing came in when they couldn't have you with murder and felonious assault. You know what I'm saying? So they took the felonious assault off, and it still kept me with 23 years to life.
Okay. So at that point, you like, all right.
Yeah, you know, so then after that, I got to write the Innocence Project. Got to write them. And so when I write them, I'm like, you know, I'm innocent. You know, like, can y'all help me? Whatever. So they end up writing me back like, well, we only handle these type of cases. And your case, you still have an appeal pending for the Ohio Supreme Court because they looked it up. So I wrote them back. And this time I had an extra copy of my transcripts. Had an extra copy. So I'm going to send some evidence with y'all for y'all can see that I'm innocent. So I wrote them back like, hold on, I'm innocent, you know, boom, boom, boom. The Ohio Supreme Court, they only answer a certain amount of cases. You got to think, because I already studied up in the law room, in the law library. So I know what's going on. It's like I'm studying the system now. I'm like, well, they only go, like, when you're dealing with the Ohio Supreme Court, it have to be a state issue for them to even be able to hear something. That's why I was able to get the 8 years taken off allied offenses, because they came a state issue.
Okay.
So like, I knew that my situation ain't a state issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. So I'm like, they ain't gonna accept nothing, because they wasn't accepting nobody cases that was around me. So when I sent the extra copy of the transcripts, they wrote me back, Innocence Project. Yeah, is you in the gang? Is you this? Is you that? Got to ask me questions. And they assigned 2 fellows on it.
So how honest were you in that paperwork when you sent me?
I was very honest.
Okay, that's all right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, one thing I'm gonna say too is that, like, when you have these attorneys, one thing, don't lie to them.
There you go.
Because they can't defend you. If you lie to them, that's why I say you have to build something with this attorney.
Yeah.
For you could be able to let them know, because if they lie, it's gonna come out if you lie. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, it's gonna come out. I tell guys that try to contact the OIP right now, like, look, I only could say if you actually innocent. I don't know your situation, brother, but you have to be actually innocent, because they go find out. They go do their research so hard that they go find out if you're innocent.
Right. All right. So what's the next process after you contact them?
I contacted them, so that's when a year ago, it was 2012, September. Mr. Donald Castor, the attorney I ended up having, love that man. Donald Castor, Nick Cash at Ivy Church, they came. It was my 2 students. When they came in there, I'm like, wow. So like, I was laying on the rack, and they said, you had a visit. I'm like, visit? Come to visit me. I knew who was coming to visit me. I only had a select few people at that time. Warren Correction Institution. So like, next thing you know, I'm like, oh, let me go out here. That might be them attorneys. Yeah. So I put on my blues. I run out there. I'm sweating. Run out there. I'm like, okay, I'm sweating the thing. Give me a paper towel. Like, So I go in there, because the CO told me, like, yeah, you got some people in there with suits on. I'm like, yep, somebody with suits on. I'm like, okay. So I end up going in there. He was kind of tough because that's what I'm saying. Okay, we hear that a lot. Yeah, they allowed to do this. You know what I'm saying? He was like, get that because he wanted to see where I was at. And so he put a paper in front of me, which was a Hague. He said, I'm going to tell you like this. You have this amount of time before you file this federal Hague. This dude,
What's a Hague?
I had like a federal Hague. It's like something for the federal courts. You know what I'm saying? I still had appeal that I could appeal to the federal courts. You know what I'm saying? And so he ended up telling me that. And I told him, like, man, I don't know nothing about the law. I don't know nothing about none of this. I need help. Can y'all help me some type of way? And he said, okay,
Right.
let me see what I can do.
Yeah.
Hold on to this because you might have to file it yourself. Call me Monday and I'll let you know. So I'm like, please, you know what I'm saying? So I go back. I'm kind of like, I call my mama like, so like I start praying and fasting like that whole weekend. Like I went into a prayer fast mode. Like I starved myself. Like I'm like, man, God, you got to come through for me. And so next thing you know, I call him that Monday and he say, the students get on there. Oh, we got some good news for you, Marty. Oh shoot. So like he get on the phone like, yeah, I have an attorney by the name of Mr. Paul Hoffman. He gonna be coming to visit you this week. He gonna do all the your federal work for you. I'm like, oh, thank God. So he ended up coming to visit me that Thursday, and he said, yeah, I need you to fill out these papers. We gotta have this in by a certain time. So he instantly filed my Hague, and he did everything he was doing on that. So that process started. It take a long time in the federal courts, about 6-7 years. So in 2018, I was at Marion Correctional Institution, and that's when they end up denying my federal appeal.
How'd you feel in that moment?
It's over. Like, what I'm gonna do. Now, like, he said, I'm gonna get back in contact with the Innocence Project, and boom, boom, boom. So my mama called the Innocence Project and said, like, what we gonna do now? So Mr. Donald Castor, he said, tell Moore I'm gonna be sending them some in the mail, and boom, 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 I need them to fill it out. You know, this and that.
Were you still hopeful in that moment, or you feel like it really was over with?
I felt like it was over. Everybody was gone. I'm up 2.5 hours away. I'm the only person I'm able to call. My mom and my baby sisters. Yeah, my other side. Them the only people I'm able to call. Like,
And
you know
at this point, you have been down for
everybody gone. Like I'm like
12 years, 11
like
years.
12, 13 years. Yeah, about 12,
Yeah.
13 years. Like so, I'm like, wow. So what I'm gonna do now? So like, they end up coming to visit me. Mr. Donald Castor and 2 other students, and told me some new things have came out in the law with dealing with certain things, and he go keep me, you know, we about to work on this. So I ended up leaving Marion, came down to London Correctional Institution, and when I got there, it was 2019. So you know
Why you moving around so much?
because when I moved from Warren to Marion, it's because my level dropped.
Okay.
I was too good to be in there. Time for you to go, man. You too good. You don't need to be on this. I was just trying to stay close to home. No visit was only 25 minutes, so and it was time for me to go. And so I ended up rolling to Marion. They dropped my level. They dropped me down to a level 2. And so when I went down to London, the pandemic hit. That's when COVID hit. So that slowed the process down. So after the COVID, in 2000, which was it, 21, I was watching the election so hard because I found out my judge was running for re-election.
Okay.
And she was running against another judge. This when the politics came involved with me. So like I'm sitting there, I'm in my bunkie, I'm like, hey, I'm watching, I'm calling out, hey, what's going on? Like who, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm trying to find out because I'm like, who got the lead right now? And they were saying Judge Wendy Cross got the lead. I'm like, yes. I need new eyes on this.
Yeah.
So like
That's hard, bro.
when she won that election,
You feel like you won that thing.
I said, thank you, Lord. Like, I mean, I was just so geeked up. This was 2020.
That's hard, man.
So like when she won that election, I'm like, I got a shot now. I'm on calling Mr. Donald, like, say, yeah, you know, new eyes and this and that, you know, like it could go well sometimes, like when somebody new looking at it.
Right.
And so I knew she's a black woman, and she, you know, she's a beautiful person, man. Miss Wendy Cross. So like she what happened was like that's when he ended up filing a motion. He ended up filing a post-conviction requesting for DNA testing to be ran on the evidence that was collected from the crime scene on my case. You know what I'm saying? So like the evidence that was collected was never tested for DNA.
Wow.
So like he wanted that to be tested. We need the evidence before we could test it because we most likely could find the person that actually did it because they have this new way to testing it. Cost some money, but it's dealing with touch DNA and type stuff like that. Like we're people thinking that they loading up these weapons like and thinking you ain't getting no evidence on it. It's something on there. They could pull something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't say that we can't pull nothing off that.
Hey, Street, y'all listening?
Yes. And so and so next thing you know, like when after that happened, he filed that. You know, went in front of the judge. You know, she was new. She just got on the bench February 12th, 2021. And so,
counting, right?
yes, 2021, she got on the bench. And so, in that summer, it got denied. So, my lawyer, Mr. Donald Castor, came to visit me a couple days before the 4th of July. He said, I wanted to come see you in person to tell you this. She denied it. I'm like, oh, shit, man, what bitch about to do now? Let's hope something just came in me like you about to win this. Like so I look Mr. Donald in the eyes, I'm like, Mr. Donald, we got this. We gonna win this.
And he looked at you like,
"We gonna win
bro,
it."
did you hear what I just said to you?
He said, yes, Morty, but because I knew, like I just knew like Mr. Donald ain't letting up.
Yeah.
He passionate about it. So like he go get me up out of it. I know he go do his thing. So like we appealed it. The Court of Appeals said that, well, because the Court of Appeals ended up sending it back and saying, like, well, she can't deny giving a reason why. She have to explain her reasons why she actually denying this. She can't just deny this. Supposed to, she ain't. So, like, what ended up happening was it got sent back to her, and we had a hearing on it. And at the hearing, now she been on the bench almost a year now.
Okay.
So now it's like,
All season.
I see it now. And she seen what she ain't see at first because everything was just pushed on her because that judge before her messed up a lot of cases, man.
And you right there in front of her.
And I'm right there. I still want to front of her.
Okay.
And so this was in 2022. 2022. So that's when she ended up. We had a hearing on it, and we had to do an appeal again because the appeal was put on hold for a minute. So she ended up putting it here, and she put some in the thing. And so when they appealed it, when my attorney appealed it again, we ended up having oral arguments 2022 in August. And when we had the oral arguments, you know, I'm calling my wife and everybody like, hey, I go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Mr. Donald did his thing. He want to stop. Like, I'm like, it's on. It's on. Like, so I'm like, this 2022. So next thing you know, September 30th. You know, because we got on our tablets, we could go on the thing and we could look up what's going on with the situation or whatever. So I'm looking it up. Oh, I won my appeal.
Okay.
It say reverse and remanded. I call my wife like, hey, they reversed and remanded. I'm looking at it right now. So my mom and them get to looking it up. Everybody like, yes. It's on. It's like it's energy up. So I'm like, okay. So it's going down. So this 2022. So like, they ain't still had I ain't heard none yet. They put a status report in or something. So that was like December. Then attorney by the name of Mr. Dave Singleton from Ohio Justice and Policy Center. He ended up teaming up with the Innocence Project about it. And so what ended up happening was when he got on it, they filed what you call a motion for new trial. And they had this organization called the Beyond Guilt.
Okay.
Where they could go off prison records and stuff like that to get people out. He basically go and speak up for you, like, well, this is a model inmate. He do this, and you know what I'm saying? It helps out a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Coming for guys that been sentenced to too much. And they ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, come and help out. Guys that's innocent too. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some guys that's innocent that took them type of deals too. So like, what ended up happening was when he filed the motion for new trial, he filed that motion for new trial. After he filed it, they gave me a hearing. And so she scheduled me a hearing for February 16, 2023. And so they end up, I said I'm going to be brought down for that. And so most likely you're going to be brought down. So I had my wife looking up, waiting for like, seeing if they go put in something to bring me down. So she looked it up like, yeah, they got you saying the sheriff's supposed to be coming to get you. We don't know when. I'm like, oh, shoot, they coming to get me for court. I'm about to go back to court. So I'm keeping my mouth shut. I done gave out everything. I'm sitting on the rack quiet. I ain't saying nothing.
You gave everything after like over.
I'm not saying nothing to nobody. Like I know, you know what I'm saying?
No,
Everybody
jinx
in
it.
suits.
We not
So,
gonna
yeah.
jinx this at all, right?
So it was a fall count.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm already like, cause I'm thinking they gonna come get me that next week. It's a fall count. So CO come to the thing like, Levingston, you have to pack it up. You got to go back to court. Everybody heard. Everybody woke up. Huh? You going back to court, bro? I'm like, yeah, I don't know what this about. Like I don't know. I'll be back. Like, I'm like, they just going there to check out something. I know I'm gonna be back, y'all. Like,
I'm
you know what
going home.
saying? Like, but
I won't tell you I'm going home, but there will be
back.
time.
So next thing you know, like,
There will be time.
oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
You packed up and went to the county.
y'all packed up and went to the county.
Yeah.
So
You
when I
out
went
of
to the
there for
county,
now.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the county. I'm still nervous. Like, man, I hope nothing, because we got this new prosecutor came in, Miss Melissa Powers.
Mm-hmm.
So
She's
she,
not the shark though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying-
I'm hearing different things. I don't really know it because I don't know her personally.
But the big
Like,
dog shark,
Well,
I don't know.
all I'm saying
big
is
shark,
it wasn't
not
the same.
the
It wasn't the same.
now
one,
the
though.
big shark is gone, which is Joseph Peters.
Yeah.
He gone. He in Ohio Supreme Court now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a
He
shark,
worked
a
it,
shark,
yeah.
a shark.
Big
I don't
guy.
know what he killer whale. So he's something.
Yeah.
Now he dangerous.
Right.
He like our prosecutor here. What's his name?
Mad head.
Mad Hex.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. What they call him? Mad Hex. Yeah. They
Hex,
both.
yeah.
They should be brothers.
Right.
So like them two right there, like ain't,
mad.
yeah. But just to be real, you know what I'm saying? But like, she ended up coming in. They was saying all type of stuff. They say, she could probably say no to it or whatever. So I'm like, man, I hope this lady, man, don't get in the way. So I'm sitting down there. So I end up going to court that day. They called me down, and Mr. Singleton came down with Mr. Paul Laufman, and they was in there. He basically told me what's going on. Like, what's gonna happen is they willing to drop the charge down to a voluntary manslaughter, and you got over that time in, and time you got in will actually carry time served, and so you could go home. You could go home today.
When you heard those words, you can go home today.
I said, oh God, come on. I'm like, look, the streets know I ain't do it. Everybody know I ain't do it. I just want to go home.
Right.
My mama's sick, my dad's sick, they have the health issues, my kids growing up, I got grandkids now. I mean, it's just so much going on. So I'm like, I have to, I know I ain't do it,
Right.
but I have to take this.
Yeah.
And so when we go up there, the judge said, what she said, it's a beautiful day. You know what I'm saying? It's a good day today. She said, it's a good day. And I'm like, where justice is being, like she's saying this, and I'm like, but I'm looking at it like, because everybody was taking that with the justice thing. The justice is me being set free.
Right.
That's how I look at it. Like,
Right.
okay, I'm being set free. That she said it that way, but I'm looking at it in a whole nother way. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, when she said that, and she said I would be going home today, the same, it was cries then, but this was a different cry. It was tears of joy. It was crying joy, happiness.
Cleansing cry.
Cleansing, like, finally. So I'm like, man, so I look up at the sky, man, like, man, you did it for me, God. You did it. It's done.
Last
That's
question, real quick. So, like the term dark plea, right?
Yes. Yeah.
What does that mean from a legal perspective?
Dark plea, his situation there comes back a long time later and enters a plea to get out of jail kind of thing. Right?
Yeah.
So, and that's, they're crazy. I mean, I've not had, so I don't deal with them because I don't usually do the post-conviction kind of situations. I'm in the trial level situation. So, yeah, it's situations, and those pleas are probably offered at that point. I mean, they're controversial. You got this person serving life, and you come down and say, how about time served but plead guilty? That probably means you're innocent. They just, we'll take it to trial. Come on now. But whatever.
But what that does it protect the system from being sued and having to pay for wrongfully convicting somebody?
Yeah. You have to be prove actual innocence, like a legal term in court, to have a lawsuit.
To be so
Like,
what's
a judge has to find you.
Exoneration would be like, I'm being fully free from it.
Yeah.
Like, it's off of it.
right,
You know what I'm saying? See, I ain't get exonerated.
right.
I went back for the plea, and I took the plea deal.
you looked at it how I would look at it as well. I'm out,
I'm out.
which is the main thing. That's keeping the main thing the main thing.
I'm gonna make it. Period. Like, you know what I'm saying, I gotta support, and me as an individual, I'm gonna make it happen.
For
You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
So, being locked up for that amount of time, what were some of the most eye-opening things that you noticed when you first got out?
Oh shoot! Wow, man. The, just even coming out, seeing the family, like wow, like how everybody had grew up, and like looking at my mom and my dad, like I'm actually seeing like it just the cell phones. Oh, that cell phone was like I was just in it all the time. Like they used to video me, I'll just be in my phone, like wow, what the heck is this? Like you do that, like so.
What other technology also that like just blew your mind completely?
Man, everything, the video game, like they go PS5. I'm like, I still don't know how to play it. You know, they got the shooting stick. I'm like, nah, take it off the shooting stick. Just put it on this. Like, I can't play it like that. Like, I'm like, I don't know how to play Madden at all. I can't do the what's that called? The shooting game. Call of Duty. I can't play that. I got the game. I can't even play it. Like, I just play the NBA 2K. That's it.
And they let you out that day.
Yeah, I went home that day.
So the day they told you to pack it up, did you go home that day, or you?
Nah, the day they told me to pack it up, I went home a week later.
A week later,
I
yeah.
had to
So you
sit in the
spent the
county for
week.
a week.
Yeah.
Oh, that was hell.
Yeah.
I'm like, they could have just let me sit in prison and just let me go to court. I'm like, y'all got me down in the stinking county jail. I'm like, so, yes.
Man, that's a story of triumph, bro. I mean,
Yes.
you know, a lot of times, man, when I go through little stuff, you know, and it's nothing like what you went through, but just all the day-to-day trials that you go through, man, where little things just don't work right. Man, I always be wondering, like, man, I wonder what the Most High is
Yes.
trying to get out of me. Like, what lesson am I supposed to be learning from this, man? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
What's the seed of equivalent benefit, basically?
Yes.
And like for your situation, bro, I know you had a lot of time to reflect, man. What did you come up with?
Wow, man, when I was in there, man, it's like, I always like, when I leave out of here, I want to leave out of here with something. Like, so I was doing everything, man. I was facilitators of all type of programs in there, like Family First. You had another one called Pacer. It was a lady by the name of Miss Parker at one of these institutions, and Chaplain Turner. They had so many different programs and for us and the chaplains and stuff. So I kind of did things like to stay woke. You know what I'm saying? In the situation, like, you know what I'm saying? Because you could fall asleep in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was staying woke in it, like, you know, keeping my faith, separating myself from negative thinking, negative people, like separate myself from that because it's full of it in there. A lot of people's looking at me funny, like, oh, you're a church boy, you going to church now. Like, yeah, I'm saying I ain't got no problem. Yes, I am a church boy and I love church, so it is what it is. So they was saying that about me in there. And so reading and stuff like that. So when I got to London, it was a friend of mine, he was back there working in this little powerhouse down there in London. And I'm like, what you doing back there? He said, man, I'm going to get my stationary steam engineer license. I said, dang, what's that? Like, you got to telling me what it is. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So he told me he was going to holler at the supervisor back there and see if I could get in. So, like, I knew this lady by the name of Miss Mosby. She was a deputy warden of special service. And I knew her from the other prison where I was at. And, you know, I'm a stand-up guy. Like, they COs know I stay out the way and stuff. So I asked her, I'm like, I'm trying to get my engineer license. I need something to do in here. I can't just be sitting around, you know me. And she like, oh, okay. So I guess when he asked her about me or she asked about him, shoot, I was back at the powerhouse back in a month.
Yeah.
And so when I'm back there, that's when it started. I was working on getting my hours. I had to get 2,000 hours worth of training hours to get the license. And so when I ended up, before I went home, I had took the test like 2 months before I went home. And so I failed it the first time. And then my wife, she like, nah, take that again. So I'm on the phone with her, like she giving me stuff to look at, studying it with me. And so I ended up taking the test again and I passed it.
That's hard.
And so I ended up I got my stationary steam engineer license. Right after that, they had put the motion in for a new trial. So I went home 2 months later.
Yeah.
And so now after that, like, that gave me something I could use when I'm out here.
Right.
Now I have an actual license, like
Yeah.
a career license where I could use. I have a career.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, that's what I did in that. Like, and I been home, like, and, you know, it been different because I'm learning. But it's a lot of things that I did to prepare myself, like this right here, EKD, the property of EKD, like this. Me and my brother-in-law's clothing line, we started it when I was locked up. I was locked up when all this started, and I told my wife, like, shoot, I'm trying to invest in that. I'm trying to get in there with him. Right. So I put the money with him, and shoot, he got this when I was locked up, and so we, you know, that's what we doing with this, with the clothing line, and just growing from there. Like, one of my family, you know, sit with my family before they could get to know the new me. They have to get to know the new me.
Yeah.
You know, they know the old me, and that's where I run into a lot of people at, because they still trying to deal with the old me.
Right.
Nah, you gotta learn how to deal with the new Marty.
Right.
This is a whole new Marty. Nah, this is not crazy thinking, negative thinking, stupid thinking, ignorant thinking Marty.
Right.
Now you dealing with Marty, and on a whole nother level. You dealing with a woke Marty. You're not dealing with a Marty that was sleep. I was sleepwalking. I was following blind. You know, blind leading the blind. Like, that's what I was doing. And so, like, now you dealing with somebody that's woke. You dealing with somebody that have ambition. You dealing with somebody that can stand on his own. They don't need, you know what I'm saying, all this and that. He don't need a crowd. He don't need a crew of people. He don't need that. He manned up. So now you gotta deal with that person now.
I have a question. So, what's some advice that, like, you give to somebody who's already passed the threshold? Okay, they're locked up now, right? What's some advice that you can give them to keep them out of trouble while they're locked up? Because, of course, like, there's always the pitfalls of joining gangs.
yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
drug use is prevalent in prison, believe it or not, guys. Yeah, newsflash, people in there using drugs like a mother.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you've used to kind of stay away from the pitfalls of prison while you're locked up?
Minding my own business and staying consistent, because you could say one thing that day, like, for instance, like, a lot of people go to different things when they go in there. They either go to basketball, whatever sports they like, gang banging, or they go to church. Some become Muslims, some become different things, whatever that's going on in there. They got all type of different stuff going on. So what I suggest is, like, you know, like, mind your business, stay in your lane, and be consistent in your lane. Because when you get to going off into other people's lanes, that's when it become a problem.
Yeah.
You can't basically straddle the fence. Like, you can't be double-minded. You gotta be consistent, because me being in there, I had to be consistent. If I was a follower of Christ, or if I'm going to church, I had to be consistent with that, because they want to go, like, take me serious. And now that create problems. That's when they get to talking about you, saying stuff, and you know, you ain't gonna, like, man, what you talking about? Like, so, like, I had to be consistent, and I had to stay focused. I was setting goals, and I'm like, this is what I'm focused on. I'm getting prepared to get up out of here. I'm not about to be sitting here for the rest of my life. So that kind of separated me from everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew it was gonna take some separation for me to get out of there.
Yeah.
Who?
It's a hell of an interview, bro.
For sure, man.
Definitely, man.
Crazy.
Like, yeah. Like, out of all, like, we've done probably 300 interviews.
Absolutely. Well.
But your story is spectacular, man. I got another bro, RB Mackey, man, that got hit with that, like, crime bill sentencing that gave him Buck Roger years, man, and locked him up for 20, 25 years, I think, over drugs that wasn't even his.
Yes.
Couldn't really prove it, you know. So I done heard some other stories that's just, like, amazing. And I don't know, for some reason I just sit and think, like, I wonder why things are how they are. Like, to me, the fact that they offered you that plea deal and you turned it down, I thought that should be able to be brought up as evidence, at least to your character or to your position, that you're innocent, you know? And then, like, when the testimony of the people that were saying, like, nah, we made a mistake, like, all of that stuff should be brought in, man, but it don't seem like they really want justice, bro. They want that conviction.
Yes, and it's like, one thing I could say. One thing I say, like, it's like, my mom ended up walked up on the prosecutor after this all happened, like, a few years. She ended up seeing her, and she said, "Y'all know my son ain't do that." She said, "Well, where's Marty at on this appeal?" And she made a comment and said, like, "It was never nothing. This was just my job." It ain't. I don't care nothing about Marty.
Right.
It's nothing personal with Marty. Like, this is just my job. My job is to come in to convict him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is my job. Like, you feel me? Like, I remember Judge Donnelly, he was talking when we was up in Lorain, Ohio, and he was talking about something with dealing with the prosecutors when he was a prosecutor. The judge up in Ohio Supreme Court. We did a little thing talking about dark pleas. And he said, like, basically when he was a prosecutor, he actually went to his boss at that time and said, this person is innocent. He was a prosecutor. The prosecutor pulled him to the side. We don't care nothing about that. You go in there and convict him.
That's wild.
Your job is to go in there and convict him.
Evil.
I don't care the way you do it, lose or win. You better go in there and try to convict him. We not throwing out nothing.
Not finding the correct person, but to convict the person. That's in front
Convict
of
the person. He's the one in here. Convict him.
But before we roll out, because we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do want you to just speak on the Ohio Innocence Project. No, it's the Ohio Innocence Project.
Ohio Innocence. Oh man.
Yeah, bro. Like,
I mean, like OIP, man. Wow, man. I mean, like that's my family. That became my family. Like I'm a big supporter of the Ohio Innocence Project. I mean, like I still go down to the office all the time. I even make myself available for them. I'm like my PTO days is gonna be days that they need me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because like it be fun and I have fun at the same time.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they supportive. I mean, they blessed us with psychiatrists. Like I got somebody I could call anytime. Like, I mean, like even if we having a hard time with getting anything, they'll write letters for you. I mean, it don't stop when they just get you out.
Right.
They continue helping you re-enter back into society. They don't stop there. It's all like whatever they do in there, they got it set up where, okay, you come out. If you are an OIP client, they go make sure you good. Long as you do what you supposed to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, do what you supposed to do. Come out here and don't do what you supposed to do.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? But OIP, like that I love them. I love them so much. That's, like I said, that's my other family right there.
So I gotta ask a question right
Beautiful
now.
people.
So here on the Legendary Podcast, we're actually building a time machine, right? So we're taking donations from the Ohio Innocence Project when you guys want to donate to our time machine, and we're going to be able to have our guests be able to go back in time. Any part in your life, Marty, where would you go and what would you say to yourself?
Stay consistent.
But where would you go in your life?
Where would I go?
Yeah.
Oh no, I want to go everywhere. Oh man, no man. Ooh, where I want to go. Like, where would I go?
Yeah, like in a time machine, like where would you go back in your life and what would you say to yourself?
Oh, if I go back.
Yeah.
Going back, I would have probably I would have stayed in school for real. Like I would have told myself to stay in school and really I ain't gonna even say separate some people I was hanging with because they became family to me too, and all of them wasn't bad. You feel me? So I wouldn't say tell myself to stay away from these type of individuals, but I would say staying in school and really staying focused, doing something different. It's a lot of things I could say to myself. Yeah.
Would you, if you could do it all over, would you change anything? Would you not go to jail if you could go back and change it, or do you feel that made you into the man that you are today?
I'm gonna be real with you.
Yeah.
Going through that did turn me into the man I am today.
Yeah.
Cause they ain't gonna rehabilitate you in there. I had to do that myself.
That's hard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I had to become strong mentally, physically, and spiritually myself.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I can say along the way that did help me. That saved my life for real. I want to say it did because I was on the road to destruction. Now, was it done right? No.
Right.
It wasn't done the right way. You know what I'm saying? Y'all convicted me for something I did not do. And so that was wrong. And so but me going through that made me the man that I am now today.
Yeah. I can see that.
I can say that.
It's possible, or it's not possible. It is what it is
happening.
that you just now
Yes.
getting started.
Yes.
You know, you was just basically getting shaped and fashioned into the man you're supposed to be for what you about to do next.
That's it. Yes, that's it.
And I got one thing to say first of all, thank you, Mike Daly, and of course, Marty Leveston for being here. But Mike Daly, hearing a story like this, being in your profession, what kind of fuel is this for you when it comes to that person who comes to you and they're in this similar situation to where nobody's believing them, they don't have any hope, outlook, and you're the person that's going to be hopefully getting them
standing
out of the
in
situation.
between
It happens
them
a
and
lot.
jail.
It happens a lot. I mean, it's just not losing the fire. I think a lot of attorneys fall into the. I mean, I have it. I've had it for real. Like, but it's a lot of people stop having it. They start caring more about whatever whatever it is. They don't. I mean, when they have somebody like you, I mean, you need to keep the focus on this, make sure it's done right, and in the end, the system is not going to be perfect no matter what, and it is situational a lot of times. But if I know. I mean, even people convicted that I don't think should be convicted, they thank me afterwards because they see me, and then they fight hard afterwards. You know?
Yes.
Like, I don't think I've had one client that I've tried to help that can tell me I didn't try my hardest on the case.
Yeah.
So I think the main thing is me showing others is what I'm trying to do. Help others, help the young and ones come up. I mean, help the whole system in general. I mean, you talk about voting.
Yes.
I mean, voting's not just sitting in that jury box. I mean, in Dayton, they do driver's license now. They switched it. So if you
Yes.
have a state ID or driver's license,
Wow.
but it's voting for the prosecutors. It's
Yes.
voting for the
Yes.
judges.
Yes.
I mean, when I came in,
Yes.
it's so different now because we're seeing this. I mean, so it's like not just me. Like, it's got to be like a lot of people coming together on one issue and figuring it out,
Yes. Yes.
I think the collective consciousness of humanity does continue to evolve, and
It
we
does.
do continue to kind of like get closer to a closer space where we all kind of like understanding each other a little bit more.
Yes.
So hopefully, like what you were saying, like you feel like things are getting better because of the type of people who are filling these positions
Yes.
now.
And like now, like you got social media. Like I tell them all
Absolutely.
the time, if we had social media when this happened to me, I wouldn't been locked up.
Right.
I would have been on Facebook. I would have been on something.
Right.
Where my phone could track it, location. My wife would have had somebody would have had my location. He was over here.
Well, shit,
Like,
man,
you know what I'm saying?
the DNA situation though.
And Marty caught up quick, man, with all the technology,
Yeah.
man. I gotta say, man.
Yeah, location, like your location, they know where you at. So that phone go
Yeah.
put
And
you where you at.
Social media, people are seeing these stories.
Yes.
Like, these stories weren't out 10
Yes.
years ago, 15, 20 years ago. Like, people are seeing it's happening. Everybody. Netflix series, so it's really, people are seeing that.
You know, you always going live and you doing something. You know what I'm saying? So, or talking to somebody, FaceTiming.
Last thing I want to ask you, Marty, is, man, I want you to look to the camera right now and talk to that person that is in this in a similar situation to where they've lost hope. They've lost their last appeal.
Yes.
And they're completely innocent.
I'm gonna tell them like this: don't give up, don't lose hope. You know what I'm saying? Stay faithful, stay strong, stay believing in your innocence, because other things could start happening. So like, just stay strong, stay focused, stay alert. You know, stay studying, stay doing your research. Like, don't give up on yourself at all. Don't give up on freedom. Don't give up on your release, and just speak it. Like, that's something that I did. I spoke it. I just kept speaking it. Like, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm going home. Even if I lost it, even if I lost my appeal, I still said I'm going home. And you know what I'm saying? Stay positive about it. Stay positive around. Make sure you do the right thing while you in there. Don't be all getting into stuff, because that could hurt you too. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's about it. Like, just stay faithful and stay strong in there.
And call the OIP.
Call the OIP. Like, you know what I'm saying? Call them and just, you know what I'm saying? Don't,
You down with OIP? Yeah, you know what I mean? You down with OIP?
Yes.
So, Mike Daly, I don't know if people contact you, but if they want to contact you for you to be their best friend / esquire,
Call me.
Yes.
I'll help you. I'll do what I can.
For sure. Oh, hey, we on camera. We ain't do it. We ain't do it. So, man. So, thank you guys for tuning in for Legendary People Podcast Special Ohio Innocence Project, man. You guys were amazing, man. Man, listen, I would love to see your story
Absolutely.
in paperback form.
Yeah, we need to talk about that, because I'm trying to get that going.
So, well,
Yes.
you're in the right place, brother.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in. Legendary People Podcast, Legendary People, Legendary Stories.
Peace, man. Love it.
Peace.